Welcome back, everybody, to Behind the Emerald Veil podcast with Ali and Mandy from Soulstar Energy Collective. We are intuitives, healers, and intuitive teachers, or, whatever, what we do. We teach people. And we have a special guest today. She has been featured and mentioned many times on the podcast because she's an avid listener and she's my friend, and she yells at me during the recording because I will hear her yelling at me.
The
So
answer.
everybody's heard the name Holly. Holly is
Yeah.
here. Holly Quissy, who is joining us to talk about her journey and to talk about everything to do with apothecary. Is that what it is? That's what I call it. I only think of Schitt's Creek when I hear apothecary. I'm like, plant stuff.
Plant medicine.
Yeah, she was the one who supplied me with what was it? What do you call it? Salve for my burning vajayjay. So she is my savior.
Forgot about that.
And she's been my friend for how long, Holly? 20? She's the one. You're the one with numbers.
Yeah.
20? Yeah. That's a long time. That's a long
I think 18, 19 years.
Yeah. Isn't that crazy? Yeah. So we've known each other for a long time.
You sang at our wedding.
I did. I'm like, it's crazy. So no wonder she's always in my head and yelling at me and all that stuff during recording of this podcast. So we thought she needs to be on because she keeps being mentioned. So thank you, Holly.
Yeah.
Yes, thank you for being here.
Before we get
into it, I'm just going to share a quick story about I was thinking about as we go through our days and stuff, ways that we use our gifts throughout the day. And I was like, oh, I used it a lot the past couple weeks, like with regard to travel. So both of my kids play sports, and we live on Vancouver Island. So a lot of the teams that they play are in Vancouver, what we call the mainland. So we have to take a ferry over from the Vancouver Island to Vancouver, and then they have their tournaments over there. So we stay the weekend. It's very expensive, but lots of fun. So I have been to Vancouver 2 weekends in a row. The first weekend was with Aubrey for a softball tournament. And then last weekend I was with Jace for a lacrosse tournament. But one of the things that I do naturally now without even thinking about it is I protect the trip, and I protect the weekend with energy, and I'll go into the weekend and sometimes I don't get to do this. Like I don't get to go into meditation and pull the energy forward of the weekend and just like do a lot of energy work and really connect to it. It's literally sitting in the lineup of the ferry, waiting for the ferry, like for us to like board the ferry, and I'm sitting there with my eyes closed and I'm just tuning in, connecting, calling forward my spirit guides, and just asking them to go before us to remove any obstacles that might be in our way, asking for a smooth trip so that there's no you're not missing turns, you're not coming into an accident or traffic or whatever. And then I also always protect the car, and then the people that are traveling with us, like that are kind of in a group, I usually just throw a bubble of light on their vehicle too, but definitely our car. And then I also just ask for protection for the whole weekend. So I kind of go forward into the weekend and I just like clear the energy to make sure that there's just no obstacles, nothing like heavy or anything like that. So it's just a quick way to kind of tap in. And one of the things I want to emphasize is that once you know how to do this work, you don't necessarily, it doesn't always have to be like I have to take 45 minutes to go into meditation and do these things. It can literally be like connecting on the spot and just pulling forward the energy and asking for support and doing what we know how to do. So I just wanted to share that quick story.
That reminds me, because like when you say like the bubbling, I do it all the time when I'm driving.
Mm-hmm.
Not like every time I get in the car, come on. But when I'm going on a trip or anywhere, I'm like, you literally just, as it's going, I'm like, I call in the guardian angels. And I literally picture them flying. I'm flying along the side of my car just like that. I'm like, oh, they're here, boop boop, and they're like, in the bubble. But last week I was driving out to Brentwood, and I was behind this truck that had a whole bunch of stuff on it. And as we're going, this thought popped in, and I was like, I wonder if everything is secure in their truck. Because I don't know. I just saw this. I saw something coming and hitting the windshield, and so I instantly just put the bubble up around my car, and I was like calling in my peeps, and I was like, let's put this bubble up. And not even 2 minutes later, the truck ends up pulling over, and I pass him, and I look in my review, and he's in the back in the thing securing something, and I was like, oh my God.
I just got goosebumps.
Right? And I was like, holy shit. They literally, like whatever, my guides, whatever, just literally was like, yep, you were right. And we're going to take him off your path so that you don't have to experience that. And I was like, oh shit. Okay. So I just wanted to say that one.
I love that. All right. Back to Holly. So, okay, Holly, thank you again for being with us. We're just very excited to share. We actually have a couple of students and past students who are super interested in plants and working with plants and herbal medicine and teas and tinctures and all that sort of stuff. So your knowledge is going to be very appreciated, I think. But tell us a little bit about your journey to get to where you're at with, like, because you do it for fun, like you do it for friends and family and for yourself. Obviously, you don't have a business or anything like that, but you still have and hold all of this knowledge and this passion for working with the plants. So why don't you tell us a little bit about your journey?
Yeah, so it started kind of 2020, the end of 2020, when my neighbor actually came to me saying, hey, we should make some tinctures. And I was like, what are tinctures? I had no clue what they were. So we started like looking into it, and we both, kind of did the first batches together just because we were just learning. And I was like, wow, this is really cool, like that you could just make medicine for yourself rather than relying on what you can get in the store or the pharmacy or the doctor, So I just took an interest in it and kept going with it. And she did a bit more with me a little bit, but she kind of went on a different path. And yeah, I just want to say, like, right off of the bat, like, I am not a trained professional at all in any of this. This is very much a hobby. So take it or leave it, people. Whatever you hear.
That's good though.
And
I was just gonna say,
I emphasize on people to do like their homework on it. That's all.
Yeah, that's perfect because the whole point of our podcast is to plant seeds so that people will take what they learn or it's something that they become really interested in and do their own rabbit hole, and go down their own rabbit hole on that one subject. So that's perfect. Can you explain
you were starting before that though, weren't you? I remember Miss Holly making some pit sticks for us. she comes with all of it. I know you were even like, save your pit stick containers and we would give it to you and you would make deodorant. So I'm like, you've been like
dabbling.
I've been dabbling for over 10 years at least, if not more.
So cool.
On natural things that you can do, like deodorant, like very easy coconut oil, baking soda, and cornstarch. And then you can add essential oil to make it a fragrance.
Does it work well?
Yeah, like it worked for me for quite a few years. Unfortunately, like during the summertime, you do have to keep it in the fridge, otherwise it will melt. But it worked quite well for me. I kind of stopped. It was kind of bothering my underarm, and I had to stop for a while. And I kind of now switched to tallow deodorant. Tallow is the animal fat from cows, basically. And I haven't made it. I bought that one because I just wanted to try it first. And tallow's kind of hard to get. Because you want to make sure that it's grass fed beef. So
So that works as a
I wanted
deodorant?
to try it. Yeah, yeah,
What?
I know.
Tallow is used for, I hear, I mean, I don't really know, but I see tallow pop up here and there in lots of the natural stuff. What is it?
Yeah,
What is the
it's very good
difference?
for your skin.
Yeah.
Wow.
Okay, what is the
Mhm.
difference between like what is a tincture? So when you say I was making tinctures, can you explain what a tincture actually is?
So tincture is in like a dropper bottle,
Mm-hmm.
and you take probably like 10 to 20 drops. However, like it depends on what your tolerance is.
Yeah.
And it's just in a dropper. So what you do with a tincture, like when you're making a tincture,
Mm-hmm.
you are collecting plant matter, and you get it all ready. Depending on where you get it, you need to clean it.
Yeah.
So you clean it and you chop it up to make sure that you're getting all the natural and minerals inside the plant, and it's being dispersed into the liquid. So
Mm-hmm.
you can make a tincture. I use alcohol. I
Mm-hmm.
use vodka for my tinctures. But there's some people that have used brandy. There's some people that have used tequila, gin. Depends on like the flavoring. I just find that vodka has minimal flavor,
Mm-hmm.
and you really taste the plant that you're doing. So yeah, so it's made with alcohol. Now there are some tinctures out there that you can make vegetable glycerin from. I've never tried it, just because it didn't. I don't know. I didn't need to.
Mm.
Um, but yeah,
Okay,
yeah.
okay. And so
So
that is different than a salve, which is a
yeah,
I
salve
can't even say
is
that
made
word,
from.
salve.
It's a hard one for you.
It is.
um,
Like,
salve is almost like a balm,
okay.
and it's made out of beeswax is the
Mm.
and infused oil. So I've made my salves from plant matter infused in olive oil,
Mm-hmm.
and you put it in the jar for like 6 weeks. You shake it every day. And then when it's done, you can strain it and then mix it with beeswax. Like beeswax, you melt it down, you mix it with the oil, and it turns into a salve. So that's
Okay.
the hardening part of it,
Yeah,
is the
the
beeswax.
beeswax. That one sounds
so,
more involved than the tincture.
Oh yes, yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
Okay.
So the tincture, generally you're looking at 6 to 8 weeks that you're putting it in the vodka,
Mm-hmm.
and you again shake it every day.
Oh,
So
okay.
when you're making it,
Okay.
yeah,
And
yeah,
then
yeah,
do you make teas as well? Because there's tinctures, there's salves, and then a lot of people will use plant
yeah,
medicine for
yeah,
in teas, right? Like I'm drinking a tea right now that is
yeah.
for gut health, and it's got all like
Perfect.
calendula in it and something that tastes like black licorice and just like a lot of it's all like Allie's like, "Ugh." But it tastes
it sounds amazing.
it's really good hot and cold, but it really
Yeah.
soothes my
Mm-hmm.
burning
Tummy.
esophagus.
Uh,
Soothes my
ouch.
tooting. Soothes my tooting.
I have really bad acid
So
reflux, so it helps.
Ooh.
yes, yes, yes. So dandelion is another good one. So it might
Yeah,
be in there as
it
well.
is. Yeah, yeah.
That's yeah, yeah. It's
Cool.
really good, and especially for vitamins too. So not many
Mm.
people know this, but dandelion is a major, major healthy plant, and a lot of people just think it's a weed
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
you want to get rid of it, but you can actually use all parts of dandelion, so the root, the leaves, and
The
the stem
stem.
and the
I
flower
used to
as
like
well.
when I was,
So
when you're little, you used to like
yeah.
play with the dandelion and it was like a glue. When you pulled the stem
Oh
off, there
yes,
was like a glue.
Yes.
hmm,
Yeah, do you remember that?
yeah,
Yeah, I do.
yeah,
I do.
I
I'm
do.
like, I'm sitting here going, Holly, you are in the wrong business. And full disclosure, we all work for the bank.
I'm friends with Holly too. That wasn't mentioned, but not as
Oh,
close
yes.
as
so
Yes,
Allison.
that's right.
sorry. She's yes, she's friends with her too. Well, 19 years
Not that
friendship.
long.
I'm like,
Yeah.
we've gone through lots together. I didn't invite her to my wedding, and that has never, not been mentioned.
What? You're a terrible friend.
No, we grew, like, I don't even
Grew
know.
apart.
We grew, like, it was one of those, like, it was like, you need to go in and out, in and out.
Yeah.
And then we ended up getting pregnant at the same time, and she followed me and moved into the same neighborhood. And would drive by and be like, "Why are you home today?" I'd always get the, like, "Stop stalking me, Holly." And then we, did the whole breastfeeding our kids in front of each other, and got close again. It becomes a new relationship once you're sharing that.
Yeah.
But I'm like listening, going, "Holy shit, Holly!" Like, obviously, I know you know a lot because I go to you for everything when I'm like, anything to do with natural stuff. But I'm like, dude, you just have all of this in your brain, and it's like, that's amazing stuff to, like, hold in there. And I'm like, you could do so
You need
much.
to share it.
Right?
Don't keep it so to
Yeah,
yourself.
I know.
Don't be so greedy.
Don't be so greedy.
It's hard.
You share
It's
with
hard. I really wanted to, like, just find as much knowledge or get as much knowledge on it, and really decide if I wanted to pursue it more.
Yeah.
Is kind of my goal.
me.
But I don't know, like, I really wanted to focus on, especially like the pandemic and things, like I really wanted to focus on, like, taking care of myself and my family, and not having to rely on the medical system.
Yeah,
Really,
absolutely.
is what it came down to. So my first tincture was pine needle tincture. So basically, it was pine needles off the pine tree,
Yeah.
And pine needle tincture is really good for vitamin C, and things like that. So that was kind of our first one.
Can
to do.
you gave me one of those,
Yeah.
and I took it. But I still does it
took
expire?
it.
I took it, but I used it. I should say I also used it. But I still have
Yeah.
it. But does it expire?
Yeah.
Oh,
No, well, I mean, it takes very long. It's a long shelf life because it is in alcohol,
oh
right?
yeah.
So they say that you can hold it for about 5 to 7 years.
Oh, so I can still use it?
Yeah, I would just
Okay.
smell it, and if it smelled, like, I had a friend who told me, like, her ginger tincture that I made for her didn't taste or it didn't smell right. And so she's like, I think it had gone bad. And it could be just where you put it in your house. If it's not in a dark spot, then it's more chance of having it go bad.
Okay.
Yeah, there you go.
Okay.
So it's in a closet. It's in
Yeah.
a dark spot. That's where I keep all mine. So
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Cool.
Yeah.
I'm gonna
Yeah.
start using it again because I was
Yeah.
like, I put it away for a little while and then I came back to it. I'm like, I don't know. I should have just texted you. Does this expire? But now I can use it again. That's so cool.
Yeah. You
Well,
have
for
a
immunity.
long shelf life.
Yeah. Awesome.
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
gotta find
Okay.
mine now.
Yeah.
Yours is probably in a box in the
You probably
corner of your closet.
Yeah. You probably threw it out.
No, I used it, Holly.
You're like,
You
Won't need this
won't need
shit.
this.
Allie, give Allie a little dropper.
It's
I know.
true. It's true. It's true.
That's
Okay.
why with the salve that I gave her a little jar.
Yeah, because you don't want to waste a big jar.
Yeah.
Don't waste it on me. No, I got that sitting on my bathroom counter right in there because it was
good.
a life freaking saver.
Well,
And what was it
Good.
helping
I'm
again?
glad.
Like, I'm like, was it that? Because I'm like, remember because it was itchy.
so you burned your vagina with lasers.
Yeah.
That's what you did,
With lasers.
right?
I did. And so then it was like, I think I got to the itchy part where I was like, oh my God. And then
Yeah.
Holly was like, I'm like, so I picked her up one night and I'm like driving and I'm like, I'm sorry, but itch. And she was like, I've got something for you. And it was like, holy shit. I'm like, this stuff is amazing.
Okay, what is it? Is it help with like mosquito bites too? Like, is it just all
Ooh.
itchy? All itchy stuff?
It could. So what it was just a yarrow salve. So yarrow is
Oh,
very good
yarrow.
for healing. Yeah, yeah.
Uh-huh.
Yarrow is really wonderful. A wonderful plant. And you can see them quite often. Like especially right now, they're coming
Yeah.
up. You can see the leaves, and but yeah, it helps with healing. It also helps with if you have like a sore mouth.
Mm.
You can actually take the leaves and chew them up and like just put it on that at that part of your mouth that
Like
hurts, and it will
toothache?
take the pain away.
Even like a
Yeah,
toothache?
Toothache
yeah,
and a
yeah.
canker?
Yeah, probably. I wouldn't see why not. Yeah,
Oh man, I've been getting a toothache like crazy. I should have texted you,
I
Holly.
know you. Yeah,
I
yeah.
know.
When again, is it the same tooth?
It's the same tooth. I probably have to see a dentist.
No. Let's fix,
No.
let's just fix it naturally.
See,
Yeah.
that's what I love. I'm always like, oh, I gotta do this. And then Holly's like, no, we can figure this out because you're passionate about it. You're
Yeah.
passionate about, finding the alternative way of healing things. So whether that's like using natural things, but also the healing part, like you are very passionate about that. And it's like, it's, within you, right? Like, we've talked about your like past lives where your soul has been, like heck, even your spirit guide is
A
kind
fairy.
of a fairy.
Very. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
So you're so connected to that like underworld, that plant,
Mhm.
which is just so freaking amazing, and it's showing in this lifetime.
Yeah.
So
Yeah. And when I go into the underworld and visit Pixel and Roger's my other spirit guide,
oh
which is
yeah.
he's a gnome, and they yeah,
I just love
and
that.
they show me around in a garden that's there just for me
They teach you?
in the underworld. They don't teach me. They almost just like they just guide me to the garden, and I
Yeah.
go in and check out the plants and things like that. So
I
I
bet they
wonder,
would teach
haven't
you.
been there in a while.
yeah, go back because I bet you there is like something that they're, you know what I mean? Like, no, you don't because I haven't said it yet. But I bet you if you go into that garden, they will show you specific plants or help you create like recipes, or they might even just show you a plant and then you're meant to go do your own research on it. And you'd be like, "Oh, that's weird. Why would they show me that?" And then you can, because if you were like, "Oh, I'm suffering from this," or I have a friend who has acid reflux, what is a good one? You could connect and then they could show you the plants that you need
Right.
to use, and then you could go from there. Do you know what I mean?
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
That's really
No. Good.
cool.
Good point.
I guess we
Yeah.
should share that you took our courses with us. Is that okay to share?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. Go. Yeah. I
So
did.
yeah, go ahead.
No, I was just gonna say, yeah. So I started the courses with you right off the bat, like when you guys did it in 2021,
Yeah, so you
October.
you were in our beta group, and we taught you all the things that we know and that we teach in our our soul activating journey. So learning how to journey with your guide and receive insight and guidance and see, I don't know, I just think that's beautiful. Do you use, when you're making your tinctures and your salves and working with the plants and stuff like that, do you ever infuse it with energy, like any energy healing or anything like that?
I try to, yeah. Sometimes I haven't always,
Hmm.
but I do want to start doing that more when I make more tinctures,
Yeah.
to really make sure that I'm giving it warm light. And I have done that in other
Hmm.
ones that I've made in the past. It's just remembering
Yeah, I
to do it.
know. It's like that
Um,
last step, right?
to, yeah, yeah. because like it is the last step. Like you're all excited about bottling your tincture and trying it, right? And you're like, oh crap, I should have done that. But yeah, no, I have done that, and I probably should make more of an effort to put more and more into my love and light and make sure that it's well blessed.
Yeah, that's a good way to put it.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Is there a difference between, okay, so we're talking about herbal medicine or in plant medicine, but is there a difference between the two, herbal medicine and plant medicine?
Not really.
Okay.
So basically, the herbal medicine is like the umbrella
Mm.
of plant medicine. So
Oh.
it's like there's a wide range of herbal medicine. Like you can look at Chinese medicine, acupuncture, like all the alternative medicines out there and that can be underneath that umbrella. But plant medicine is just under that. Yeah.
Mm.
Mm.
I'm curious because a lot of people will talk about plant medicine as in like they took plant medicine to get high so that they could journey or heal or something like that. But there's a
Yeah.
difference between that plant medicine and the plant medicine that we're talking about because you don't have to get high in order to heal or to
Yeah.
like to receive. Like you also don't have to get high on plant medicine to have those like
Mm.
psychedelic experiences. You can do that, sober in
Yes.
meditation, which is something that we experience ourselves all the time and what our students
Right.
can experience. But what do you think about, like, what are your thoughts on using plant medicine for that purpose? Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, like I'm right there for it if people want to do that. I've never done it yet.
Mhm.
I'm not sure if I will or not. But there's people that have gone through ayahuasca,
Mhm.
that really that's what they do before they
Mhm.
go into journeying, right? So it's um it's huge for some practices
Mhm.
to do it. I just have never done it. There's a lot of good benefits from that I've researched and stuff from microdosing mushrooms.
Mhm.
Lots of good things that can come out of that people are like with PTSD
Mhm.
or anxiety or in depression. Like it really just gives them an alternative that from other sources like pharmaceutical drugs and
Mhm.
things like that if they didn't want to do that. So, but yeah, it's great to have that stuff. But yeah, I have never done it personally.
Me either. Maybe we should
So
all go together.
I know. I'm like,
yeah,
I was literally just talking to my therapist about it. I
Oh,
was like,
really?
yeah, well, I was saying that it's something that's come into my awareness that keeps like poking its head and um, that it might be something good to do in the sense of like, obviously, I don't feel like I need it to connect and all that stuff, but it's like there's this sense in me that feels like letting go of the control that something will come up that I need
mm-hmm.
to come up. And until I do something like that, I can't.
Mm-hmm.
But I'm like, oh my God, I'm like, oh, it freaks me the fuck out. He was like, oh, would you do it with Mandy? I'm like, I don't even know.
I don't
I'm
know.
like,
I no offense. I don't know if I could do it with you
I
because I would be
know,
afraid that you would like freak
freak
out and then
out.
I would be high trying to manage your freak out.
I know. That's what I said. I was like, no, I said, I think I need to do it with somebody that's not high, for one, that can manage me if I get to my state of like, you need to take me to the hospital. I'm freaking out right now. I'm like, who freaking knows? And I'm like, yeah, I don't think two high people for getting high for the first time should be in the same room together.
No.
Yeah,
I'll
you would
just have
have to.
like
You would
Holly.
definitely have to have somebody.
Yeah, Holly's really calm. Maybe you can just be our babysitter.
There you go.
I don't know if I'd want us
Perfect.
both high together. That would be a mess. There are people though, like we know people who actually facilitate circles that
Mhm.
take plant medicine and then they
Mm,
hold space for you for through the day. So you go in the morning, well, not like early morning, but
yeah,
mid-morning, and you take your plant
yeah,
medicine and then you get anchored into your journey and then you're basically just laying there enjoying yourself, and then you come slowly out of it, and they're just there to hold the space and to open the space and to close the space, and just to make sure that, because when you're taking drugs, like any type of drug, whether it's plant drugs or plant medicine or anything else, like you're opening your energy up. So there is like a whole, like you should be protecting your energy. And I've had this conversation with Jace just like a few times recently because he's so sensitive already. And I'm like, he doesn't do drugs, but I mean, I hope he doesn't do drugs. But I'm telling him, like, you, like, specifically, Jace, like, if you decide to, you know, smoke pot or take mushrooms or something like that, you need to make sure that you're protecting your energy, because there's a whole, you can be opening yourself up to so much that, you know, the darker entities, the darker energy, and then not have a very good experience before,
Absolutely.
during, or after.
Absolutely.
Right.
Mhm.
I've been taking microdosing psilocybin.
When? Since when?
Oh, just this week.
Psilocybin.
Yeah.
Yeah, psilocybin. And so my sister had bought me like a little bottle of it. And this is how, like, I don't like losing control. And so it's been there a month and a half that I've been looking at it. And I'm like, not today. Not today. Oh, I'm going to drive right now. Better not do it today.
But
There's excuse after excuse. And then I finally just took it one day and I was like, oh, nothing happened.
Yeah.
Because it's a microdose
And nothing happens.
no, but I didn't know. You don't know if you like take. I don't know how I was going to react to it. And so I've done the whole bottle. Yeah. Well, I just took it every day. I was like, I'm going to take it every day. Like I have ADHD or whatever, and I'm like, I've heard that helps with that,
Yes.
and so I was like, oh, I'll just like. But what really kind of sucks about it
It's
is
expensive.
the fact it is expensive, and so it's like I think that's the hard thing.
Can you make us mushroom
Yeah.
microdose? We
You have
will
to pay.
forge with you. If we go pick our own mushrooms,
No, Mandy will do that. I'm not touching. I'm not doing that.
I haven't got into the mushroom picking. There's just so much you need to know about it that I haven't, and like finding it like is just, there's these mushroom people that like know where they go, and like they have certain places and they will not tell anybody.
They're secretive about it.
They're very
Wow.
secretive. Yeah, but I mean, luckily there are places that you can get, microdosing mushrooms, and
Yeah, just sucks that it's so expensive because it's like you
Yeah.
want to do.
I know.
I have my cart filled with a whole bunch of natural stuff, and one of it is what's the main mushroom that lion's mane.
Lion's mane.
Lion's mane.
So focus.
Yeah.
Lion's mane is very good for your brain and actually gut issues. So that's a good one for Mandy too. Yeah.
Yeah, like to get one. And so I'm like, ooh, I'm like, I want to press like checkout. And I'm like, man, all these like healthy things that I'm like, ooh, I think I need them. I'm like, but it's gonna do me 1 month and I have to buy it all over again. And it's so expensive. It really sucks.
It's very expensive. Yeah.
And no coverage, right?
Definitely.
Like that. So you sit there and you're like, okay, well, I can use the damn pharmaceutical stuff and I don't pay a dime.
Yeah, it's stupid.
Covered.
Isn't that dumb?
Yeah.
I know.
Did you notice a difference, Allison? Oh, sorry.
Yeah, I think I did. I think I did. Like I feel like actually, yeah, I felt like I had more energy when I was on it, and like I would have like, because usually, I get tired during the day and I like to take a nap. And I actually found I was having more days that mentally the habit wanted to take a nap, but I was like,
you didn't need to.
I don't need to. So I was like, okay, I won't do it. So I can only chalk that up to being. And so then I was like, give me more.
I was taking I was microdosing when I was on my leave of absence, and I was going through I was having panic attacks and stuff. I started microdosing at that point, and I noticed it helped me a lot. It was a good a good friend. Do you know what I mean? To like kind of
Yeah.
help me along the way. So
Did you
it
ever
was
get
good.
high from it?
No,
No. It's cool.
nope, not at all.
The amounts that they put in the microdosing is very minimal.
Mhm.
It's not to make you high or anything. And I don't
Yeah.
even know if they have the properties of doing that in it.
Oh.
For healing.
Yeah, except the healing part, right?
Mhm.
Yeah, so I don't know.
Okay.
I haven't really got into that. I haven't got into the microdosing or the mushroom.
Part of it.
Part 2 coming
Yeah.
soon.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I
All I've
know.
done is like collect turkey tails, actually. Turkey tail is very good for immune systems.
That's
so
a plant,
I
right?
collected that. No,
Hmm.
turkey tail is a mushroom. It's off of,
Oh.
you find them off of logs, like
Oh.
dead logs. Yeah. So I did do that probably about a couple years ago. And I just kind of dehydrated them, but I didn't do it properly. And I don't know, it didn't work really out.
It didn't work out.
I might
Try
it didn't
again.
work out.
Try again next time.
Yeah.
To
I
be
think that
continued.
was like, I think that was one of the things in my cart.
Turkey
It said-
tail?
Yeah, because I was
Turkey
like, that's a
tails, yeah.
funny name. I'm like, what is that?
It all has funny. I love the names like lion's mane. Yeah, I want to take lion's mane.
Slippery elm.
Elm. I take slippery elm in my
That's the
shakes in the
weirdest.
morning.
That's the weirdest name ever, and it's in my basket as
Yeah.
well. I have a ashwagandha root.
Ashwagandha.
Oh, there you go.
So you can actually get that. You can get that at a herbal store as well. So I mean, but you can order it
Interesting.
as well.
What's it for? What's
I
it
think
for?
it's for. I'd have to look it up. I can't
Mm.
remember exactly. It's for the brain. It has a lot to do with the brain, your nervous system, I believe.
Oh, I like that.
Opening
Yeah.
up.
I like
All right.
that. That's why my cart is over $100.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
So I just want to ask, how does one heal with plants? So we're talking about plants and using it to help us heal our bodies. So we have the pharmaceutical industry, which basically slaps a band-aid on the symptoms, but it doesn't help heal the root problem. So is this what plant medicine is helping us do?
Yeah, it can, unless you're fixing the problem going along with it, right? So, yeah, like it can help for sure. And I find that, you know, a lot of medications, yes, you're putting the Band-Aid on the situation, but
Mhm.
it's not really fixing it.
Mhm.
And it does damage to your body too by
Mhm.
ingesting that every day. It's just like Advil and Tylenol. Like it's
Yeah.
really not good for you to be taking it a lot, right? So it's great to find alternatives. Like, and I've been actually looking for an alternative for when I get a headache. You know, like
Have you come
so
across
I
one
want
yet?
to. Feverfew is a plant. Kind of looks like a daisy almost when it flowers.
Mhm.
But yeah, that is one that helps with headaches. So I'm going to be doing a tincture this year when it flowers. Yeah.
I'll be your guinea pig if
Me
you'd like
too.
Yeah,
if you'd like some
we
beta
can test it
testers.
out.
Yeah. Allie
I
gets
get
headaches all
Yeah,
the
headaches
so
time.
all the
You might take a
time.
I
shot
know
of
she
it.
does. Yeah.
Yeah. Can I take a
know.
shot? Let's take a shot.
Uh, seeing how you're not, I don't know.
Oh yeah. I don't want to get
Might be too
myself
much for you.
accidentally high.
Yeah.
We know what happens when that happens. So okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. But
No,
no, that's
feverfew
amazing.
is good for headaches and migraines. So
Mm.
that is, yeah,
What I
yeah.
need.
So I really want to do, and it turns out that my sister, right in her backyard, has a whole bunch of feverfew. So
What?
yeah, I
What does
know.
it look like?
So it kind of looks like
You said it's
it's in
like a
the
daisy.
carrot family, like, and the flowers are like daisies. Yeah, kind of like white
Oh.
with the yellow center.
See,
Yeah.
I just see
So,
the future as like, having even if it was like a community garden or people just foraging and doing their own their own plant medicine, having their own little apothecaries in their homes, or having like a little, you know, a friend who has a little apothecary that can help them out, and just trading services, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
That's
No, I
awesome.
agree. The only thing that I feel like, because I started a medicinal garden last year, so I did yarrow, and I did calendula, I did mullein, like all these things. But you know, the more I thought about it, like you really want to forage it in the wild, because
Mm-hmm.
that is where the most medicinal parts are going to be within the plant, right? Because it's natural. It's not like you're
Yeah,
watering it too much, or like
right.
it's
Mm.
like in the wild is exactly how it's supposed to grow, right?
And I
And
guess,
so,
mhm.
yeah.
Sorry.
So I've been told that from other, like there's a lady close here who has a medicinal garden. I've gone to her, you know, and you can pick whatever you want from her garden for a
Hmm.
cost, and then she makes her own tinctures as well, and teas and everything. But she's like, really, like you should be, you know, getting it in the wild,
Okay.
um,
That
you
makes
know.
sense.
So
Yeah, but then I guess
but that it, yeah,
at some point you just get to know the areas that these things grow. So if you're like, oh, I need yarrow for this tincture or this whatever, I have to go forage it. And then you just kind of
mm-hmm.
know where you foraged it last year in the wild. But there's not a lot of like wild places around here because we live in a city. So we would have to
Yeah,
go, I guess we could go out. I
We
mean,
have
there
so much
would be a bit of a
nature,
drive, yeah. But
yeah,
then, but
around.
then I guess like there's other places where like I really need wild dandelion. But I mean, I'm not going to pick the dandelion from my front yard because I know Nick uses fertilizer on our grass. Do you know what I
um,
mean? So I would want dandelion that's wild elsewhere
mhm.
where not a lot of people go, because then I know it's not going to be sprayed or it's, dog peed on or
Peed
whatever.
on,
Yeah.
sick. That's
and
also
that's
nature.
and that's yeah, and that's why you clean it. You clean things
Hmm.
if you know that it's in an area that is most likely that's going to happen.
Yeah.
You need to wash. You have to wash it, right?
Yeah.
But yeah, some of the people that I follow, like yeah, they are out in the mountains, and you know, there's not very many people around. So like
Yeah.
she's like, yeah, I sometimes clean, like depending on where I find it. So
Hmm.
yeah,
And
but
you have
yeah,
to know
no,
the
it's
plant, right? Like you have to be able to recognize it
identify
and
it.
yeah,
Yeah.
identify, because you guys, like you went out. I know that my boys and stuff went out with you guys to do, what was it? What were you guys doing? It was to
It
learn
was
about
almost
them.
like it was almost to find like a survival. Like
Yeah.
what can you eat in the woods? You know, if for survival, what can you like? And most of the trip was like identifying plants like that you can make things from.
Which is so
Mm.
Um,
cool.
and it was really, yeah, it was really interesting. And I really want that to go into the schools, because like kids should know
Hmm.
Yeah.
basic knowledge on survival skills, you know, like
Yeah.
and what
Don't
they
eat
can
that.
eat
You
and
can eat
don't,
that.
yeah, yeah, exactly, right.
Well,
Yeah.
that's just another
So
way that they
yeah,
keep us suppressed into our little box of, following the rules.
unfortunately, yeah,
Yeah. And
yeah,
did you notice how I didn't
yeah.
show up for that walk?
Yeah, I wanted to, but weren't we doing something together for the business that day or something?
Was I? I don't
Yeah.
know, but I was like, yeah, you guys can go.
I will be there next time. I'm super interested in all the plants and stuff. I'd love to be able to just be like, oh, have a recipe, be like, I need to make a headache tincture because we're running low, instead of going to the pharmacy and grabbing Tylenol and Motrin.
Mm-hmm.
And even like for period cramps and stuff like that, having,
Mm-hmm.
a salve or a tincture to help with that. And then I know like with my daughter getting older, that will be something that she could use. So it's so
Yeah.
interesting. Now we were talking
Mm-hmm.
about forging. Let's explain what forging is. So people are like, what do you guys, what is, because I remember when I was like at the beginning of my journey and I was like, I have
Yeah.
like there was so much slang, or I just didn't know what they're talking about. So let's just explain what is
Yeah.
forging.
So foraging is when you actually go out and you're looking for plants that you want to harvest by cutting them properly, and that's why you need to do your homework before you go and have kind of a plant in mind or a few plants that you're looking for to go out and you can always bring books with you too, like to make sure that you're identifying the right plants and everything. So, yeah, you basically go out in the woods or, a meadow or wherever you think that you'll want to find a particular plant. Like soon I'll be harvesting California poppy, and that's in the opium, category.
You can get high on that.
Yeah. So it's way like it's not really actually opium, but it actually helps with anxiety and depression and insomnia, like all these things. And I do use it, when I want to relax and stuff. So California poppy has been great. And right now is the time to harvest it.
And do you use that in a tea or in a tincture when you take it?
Tincture.
Do you mostly use tinctures or do you make teas? I think I asked that, but I forgot.
I do make teas sometimes, but I haven't because you have to dry them out, and you need a flat drying area. So I generally just make tinctures because it's just easiest for me. And yeah, so that's usually what I do. But
that's so cool. And so what is an apothecary? Because we also mentioned apothecary a few times, but let's explain what that is.
I guess like your actual workspace, right? Like where you keep all your medicine. Like I certainly don't have enough room for that in our house. But yeah, like I do have a section in our hallway closet that has all my tinctures and supplies and things. So but yeah, like that's what an apothecary I can't speak, Allie.
It's contagious.
It is.
That's so funny. It's like
you've got a mini apothecary in your house then.
Yeah.
I'm like, you know what? A witch's
cabinet.
den.
Yeah.
No, it's a witch's den. I'm like, it's really when you pull it back,
you're making potions.
Yeah, that's exactly like when I think of it and I'm like, oh, all these jars and having all of these different things in it. That's exactly what, the view is of the witch, doing all these things. Oh my God, Holly, you're a modern day witch. You would have been hung.
I am.
I know. We talked about the witches and like the different types of witches, and like the green witch, and it was like Holly's the green witch. Like for sure. Right. But it's like I could just see like that typical, in a cabin in all your little jars and just like brewing it all really to get high.
In a cauldron over the fire.
Over the fire.
Come in and have some of this tea made of poppy.
Stay a while.
You can fly high on our broomsticks with this California poppy.
Oh my God, that's so good.
Okay. We wanted to ask you also a little bit about what a plant ally is, because that kind of phrase gets thrown around a little bit. But can you explain that?
Plant ally would be like a plant that you are called to basically over and over again, right? Like it's a plant that you really know and you work with quite often.
Feel connected to.
Feel connected to it. Yeah, for sure. Yeah.
Do you have a plant ally? Yeah.
I'd say yarrow is my first go-to. There's just so many things that it's good for. Like it can stop bleeding. Yeah. So if you're out in the wild and there's yarrow around and you have a cut, you can make it into a poultice and basically chew it up and then put it on your wound, and it would stop bleeding.
Jeez.
Yeah. Wow.
I would not survive. Like I really, truly would not survive.
It's a good thing you're friends with Holly.
Oh, thank freaking goodness.
If the world goes to shit, Allie, you need to find Holly.
I do, because I'm sitting there going like, I don't do plants. I don't do any of these things. And I'm like, wow, Holly, these are so interesting. And I'm thinking of my, pharmaceutical cupboard. And
Your actual
I'm
medicine
very
I
cabinet.
know you.
reliant on pharmaceuticals, I will admit. Yes. So Holly
But
has a
that
lot
can
of work.
slowly change, Allie, or you can just start supplementing what you've been taking for the plant part of it. Do you know what I mean? Like that's what I'm
Totally.
trying to do because I was on medication for my acid reflux. I've been on it for a while and I hate
Mm,
taking medication. And they said I was like, is there another alternative? Like I kind of pushed back a little bit and they said, it's kind of like giving my esophagus a chance to heal. And so to take the pills or whatever so that my esophagus could heal. And I was like, okay. So I started taking it about a year ago. But then in the meantime, I was going to do my own research, but you know how life gets, it's just so busy. I just didn't even know where to
yeah.
start with that. I should have started with Holly, but but anyway, so fast forward to now, I just ran out of the pills and I was like, I don't want to take any more pills. And then funny enough, I was talking to a friend on the weekend and she was saying she had been on these pills and she learned that long term they can cause osteoporosis. And I was like,
What?
Oh,
yeah. So, and I know like this is what pharmaceutical medicine does. Like they just slap a band-aid on the problem. They don't heal anything and they cause problems in the future. So then I stopped taking them. So now I'm dealing with like acid reflux because I'm not,
So it's bad.
suppressing. Yeah. So I'm not suppressing with this pill. I'm not suppressing. They said it was like suppressing something in like some sort of pain, something in my brain or something. I don't know. Anyways, it didn't sound proper. I didn't want to do it, but I did. And then now I'm off of it. And now I'm trying to figure out how I can heal it medicinally, like through plants and through diet and all of these things. So I'm just starting this journey now. Oops. Where I'm trying to figure out how I can heal my stomach issues and the acid reflux naturally and properly
Mhm.
without having to take any of the pharmaceuticals.
I'm on them.
Yeah.
I'm on those for
oh
the
no.
acid reflux.
So we need to figure out what we
Oh,
can
and I
use.
love them so much because it literally,
I
I
love them.
I love them. I'm just like, no, 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 I don't want to hear
Yeah, I'm
that.
sorry.
Because it was like I've dealt with acid,
Well,
acid reflux for like, and so bad. And it's
yeah,
been like, I can't even believe the freedom of not having it because of these drugs. But now I'm like, osteoporosis. I'm like, that bloody runs in my family.
yeah. So
Ugh.
yeah, now we just need to, it's gonna be a
You can
long
fix that
journey.
though.
Yeah. It can be fixed. It
You
can
can
be
fix.
healed properly, right? That's what I
Well,
want.
Yeah, you
Mandy
can.
goes
Yeah, you
first.
can.
You do it. You
Yeah.
figure it out like you
Mandy
always
goes
do.
first.
Yeah,
As
yeah.
always.
I'm like, as always, Mandy goes first, and then she tells me how to do it, and then I do the easy button.
That's
But
silly.
everybody's
Oh.
different, right? So, like Mandy might try dandelion,
Hmm.
which I think you should start. You can easily get a dandelion tincture.
Hmm.
I can show you where to go and
Okay.
things like that.
Ooh, share it with
But yeah,
everybody.
like,
We'll put the
oh,
link in. We'll
really?
put the link in.
Yeah,
Yeah,
we can put the
right?
link in. Yeah.
Yeah.
Are you talking about like an
Uh,
apothecary one that's in town?
yeah,
Yeah. I think
Okay.
yeah, like
is
in
it
Victoria.
Apotheca Herbal? Herbal Apotheca? Who is it?
What?
No, Green Muse
Oh,
Mm.
herbs, I
Green
think.
Muse Herbs.
Downtown.
This
Victoria.
far. There's a place out here in Colwood that I went to get my tea, and they made it specific for my acid
Oh
reflux.
yeah.
It was Apotheca
Oh, good.
Herbal. Yeah, so we'll link both
Oh,
of
good.
those. Yeah. They just
Yeah,
she has an
yeah.
apothecary that she had a storefront downtown and then they closed the storefront and now she just has the apothecary in her basement, like in her basement suite, in her
Okay.
house, like just by where I used to live in by the middle school.
So
Oh, okay.
cool.
Yeah.
Wow. I
Lots
would
of
love
purpose.
her info
Yeah, I'll send it.
if you, yeah,
Yeah.
that's awesome.
Oh, we love all these witches popping up.
Yeah. And so, Holly, if somebody was like, they're really interested in this sort of stuff, like where did you start? What type of resources can you share? Where did you start learning about all of this sort of stuff so that, you know, if anybody is like, oh, this is so interesting, even myself, like what is a good starting point? Where do you want to build that foundation?
Yeah, so I started like just following a bunch of people on YouTube mainly, also Instagram. So She of the Woods is a great quirky lady. She lives in the high mountains of Oregon. She is super, super knowledgeable, like, oh my God, like, wow. And yeah, she's great. And
Okay.
she puts a lot of free content out there. And most of my knowledge has come from her, I gotta say. And I also follow Herbal Jedi. He's actually the owner of Harmonic Arts, which is a lot of that mushroom tinctures, mushroom powders. It's very local here.
Oh,
You see
okay.
their stuff. So he's very knowledgeable too, and he actually goes out in the woods on Vancouver Island. So it's very local, which
Does
is
he
great.
does he share his space like where he goes? Or is he a
Oh no,
secret? Is he secretive?
He's
yeah,
Come on,
yeah.
people, share the wealth. Come on.
I
But
know.
he's super knowledgeable. And then there's a lady, oh gosh, I want to say like Wisconsin that she lives in. The Honeystead, I think it's called. She's super knowledgeable too, and she has her own place and
Okay.
apothecary place. So yeah.
Any favorite any favorite
Blah, blah.
books that you have? Like, do you have like a book with an index of like all of the things and then what they help? What's your favorite book? Books.
Yeah, so I have it here. Um,
Pacific
Pacific
Northwest
Northwest
Medicinal
Medicinal
Plants.
Plants.
Hmm.
Yeah,
Mm.
by Scott Kloos, Kloos.
We'll put that in the show
Yeah,
notes.
that one
Add
is
to cart.
yeah, that one is really good. Um, yeah, that's my main one that I go to. And then also, like, I just look things up, like on a lot of people that I follow that they usually have done a video on how to identify the plants in the wild. Like She of the Woods is awesome for that. She has usually a video of how to find it in the woods and what to look out for.
Mm-hmm.
And then also another video shortly after on how she tinctures it or how she
Oh,
makes something out of it. So yeah, a lot of free content out there that you
yeah.
can definitely use. So
Awesome.
yeah,
Yeah.
I love that. I'm excited to start following her for sure. And then
oh yeah,
I'm gonna add that book to my cart
yeah,
for sure. Pacific Northwest, because that's where we live.
yes,
That's
yeah,
awesome. Is there anything else that you
yeah.
wanted to chat about? Oh, we should chat about oh, we did that. Where I was going to talk about your guide. So your guide is connected to the underworld, your guides, I should say. So we talked about the fairy pixel and then Roger, your gnome. And a
Yeah.
lot of times when we're working with our students to introduce them to their spirit guides or they're working to connect with their spirit guides, a lot of times we will journey either to the upper world or the underworld. And the underworld is very connected to like the plant medicines and the fairies and the gnomes and the unicorns, like everything magical and majestic and mystical kind of exists in this realm. And it feels like you go down, like you're being grounded into this meditation essentially. And that's where you
Yeah.
get to like see and experience and learn and all these things. So spending time in, a lot of people are comfortable in that energy because it feels so grounding. It feels so homey and comfortable. But I'm excited to challenge you, Holly, to go back into meditation because I know it's been a while since you had it
Yeah.
like as a practice, because when we were doing it together in class, obviously we did it all the time. But go in there and see what they have to share with you about any of the plants that they want you to start working with, or maybe they'll introduce you to a new plant and then you can
Yeah.
report back and we'll share it on the podcast.
Yeah. No, I'll definitely, and I'll be asking them to show me for acid reflux.
Yes, thank
Like
you.
a plant for it.
Yeah,
Yeah, I'll ask
that
for
she has
it.
a purpose. I'm gonna just tell
No.
a funny story of Holly. and her guide. So Holly's guide likes to show up like what are they? Fruit
Fruit
flies?
flies.
Fruit fly.
Fruit flies, yeah. So we were out for dinner with a friend, and this fruit fly comes to the table, and of course it, like the friend or whatever is like, oh God, like this is, and Holly goes, oh, it's my guide. She's been trying to get my attention all day. And I'm sitting there going, shut it up. Because like if it was just me, I'd be like, oh, Pixel, like what are you doing? What do you want? Like I totally, but when you have somebody that's maybe not into this, and I was like, oh no, she said it out loud. And it was like, what are you talking about? And Holly's just like, yeah, my guide. And I think like when you were saying it, it was like actually when you started to say it, you're like, oh shit, this sounds crazy, because we all know when we start to say what we've experienced to somebody outside of this, into this stuff, you can hear it in a different way.
You do hear it.
Yeah, and I was like, shut it down, just smack it and get it gone. Like,
kill Pixel.
kill Pixel.
It's funny because I thought we'd had like a conversation with her before, like about this, and I was like, oh, it's fine, whatever.
It's just my,
but I don't know.
Don't worry about it. It's so funny though, because you just don't. And I'm like, it totally is Pixel trying to get your attention, and that's just how it goes, And then one last thing, Mandy had made a connection yesterday. What was your connection yesterday when we were talking about having Holly on here? Is she not going to remember it? I told you could tell the joke. And then you said, you need to tell the joke. Okay.
Oh, yeah.
There you go.
I was just connecting the dots that you're so connected to the underworld and to the fairy realm and all that sort of stuff. And your name is Holly. It is a plant. You're named after a plant. So that is
named, I'm like, it's so crazy because it's like you were meant to be here to do this.
And you named yourself. Like a lot of our spirit babies will send us the name. So your soul named you, like you planted that name into your parents' brain, and they're like, Holly, that's a beautiful name. And you're like, yeah, that's my name. That's who I'm gonna be.
That's so cute.
And it's really funny because like just on Sunday, my parents gave me a pot and it had a holly tree in it.
Aww. That's sweet.
Yeah.
Can you do anything with holly?
Yeah. What are the medicinal purposes of holly?
About that one.
There isn't. Make a good wreath out of it.
There you go.
Literally can't make anything out of
Yuletide.
I don't think so. I haven't looked into it. I think the berries are poisonous, and so, even like in the area,
protection.
Yeah, even in the area near us.
Poisonous.
Yeah, in the area near us.
Yeah, in the area near us in Machosen, they're actually trying to get rid of holly in the forests or in the parks there because they're invasive. So, I'm like, how dare they?
How dare you name me with something I can't even use? And that's invasive, but it kind of like makes sense. Like holly is the friend that has eyes on everything. Like she will all of a sudden, like I remember one time you came over for my son's birthday party and you're like, your license plate is expired. And I'm like, what? Who looks at these things? But Holly looks at every detail. She just has all these like random things, and she's like very detail oriented. And I always call her my creepy friend because she's always creepy.
I love that. Well, Holly, we're very grateful that you came onto the podcast to share with us a little bit about plant medicine and just some of the general basics, foundational things. And I'm excited to now work with you to do tinctures and salves, maybe you can teach me. Yeah.
Sure. Yeah,
Okay.
I'm totally up for it. One last plant that I want to go over, because it might actually help some of your listeners out there. But if people, women especially, want to balance their hormones, red clover is a very good one to balance your female hormone system.
Okay. And you can make that
Bring
into a
it back in.
tincture and then put
Yep.
droppers, and you always put the drops under your tongue, right?
Yes. So anytime that you take a tincture, it's best to put it under your tongue, let it soak into, and because down there, it soaks into your bloodstream the quickest. And so, yeah, it's best to do that, and then hold it there as long as you can, and then you can swallow it. But and also, if it's a potent tincture, like some plants out there are very bitter, and you can't take it just on its own. Like Oregon grapefruit is one that, you know, it's good for digestion and liver, and it's very potent. Blue vervain is another huge, powerful one, and it's really hard to take on its own. So you can always put them in water and then just chug it. Yeah, that way. So,
and it does burn. You would have felt that, right? The pine.
Yeah.
The pine, that was the one. Yeah,
Because
I
the
definitely
vodka,
was.
I think, though.
The vodka, that because I'm like, hold it, keep it there for as long as possible, and then I'm like, oh god, I can't handle it anymore, and then just take it back.
Oh, that's so funny.
Another one that I've come into contact, it's my most recent tincture that I've done, is Usnea, USNEA, and it's like the common name for it is old man's beard.
I love old man's beard.
So I made a tincture of that, and it's really good for, it's an antibacterial and antiviral. So really good for strep or staph. Yeah. So.
Okay. Yeah. Very, very cool. Very cool. Yeah. Because like, again, you don't, and now we know, okay, I'm just going to say, I have a symptom. Can I go to the doctor and spend friggin' 5 hours waiting to see a walk-in clinic or going to the hospital? Or I can like send somebody to go forge old man's beard, make a tea out of it, and just sit at home and drink a tea. You know what I mean? There's going to be options now, and we don't have to rely on the stupid medical system that is so broken and so terrible, where we can take our power back and control of our own health and start doing and healing ourselves naturally from the plants in nature, Mother Earth. Like she's so beautiful and she's so abundant. She has so much for us to share. We've just been ignoring all of that beauty and all of that wisdom for so long, So
we've been given everything that we need to survive on this planet, right? Like it's truly that.
It's not chemicals.
It is not chemicals. And I think even in the sense, like, you know, obviously we're lucky here in Canada that, you know, we don't have to pay out of pocket to go see a doctor. But like how, you know, I know in the US that, you know, this is something you have to pay for. And sometimes I would assume if I had to pay out of pocket, I would be very picky of when I went to go see the doctor. Like we take it for granted here. But having all of these type of things would be, you know, kind of give you some freedom to be able to be like, yeah, I'm not going to run into the doctor for this. I'm going to try this first. So, so important.
Yeah.
And most of the places that you can buy these things, they don't charge a whole lot. Like, like the Green News herbs downtown, like it was like $20 or less for a tincture, you know, and they have different sizes. So the smaller one might have been less, like $10. I was looking for the bigger one, but it really wasn't that much. And so, and they're quite knowledgeable, these people that work in these places. And so, I mean, if you go in there and you have symptoms or whatever, like staff has gone through our house before, and you know, I had a bit of it last summer, and I refused to go and get antibiotics. Like I just that's not something that I wanted to do because I really wanted to try to get rid of it myself. And, you know, I ended up getting rid of it with the Oregon grape root because I didn't have Eucina. So, you know, it just so happened that I was able to get rid of it through that. But it's consistency, right? Like you can't forget to take the tincture. So take it up to 3 times a day, you know, like it's the consistency on that. And it's not instant relief, you know, sometimes it does take a bit to get into your system to actually help with a certain symptom, you know, or a certain thing. So, but it's perseverance, you know. You got to have that.
It should be plant medicine first, and then prescription after. You know what I mean?
Well,
I agree.
Yeah, and you know, my daughter, she had staph not a couple weeks ago, and you know, we tried a few days with, you know, giving her the herbal stuff because again, I didn't want her to be on antibiotics. And she ended up being like, I don't want to take it. Like I just want it to be gone. So we made the call and we went to the doctors, got the antibiotics. And yeah, so it just so happened, it's whatever you feel.
No, I like that. I like that. It's the having the options, right? Yeah. Like I could easily look at going off my ADD medication and start doing the lion's mane because I did notice that the focus and
the
stuff.
microdosing. Yeah.
Yeah, right. And going in and doing that, and like you say, like doing some, like maybe I can't afford all of my ailments right now, but I make one, you know. So yeah, I love that. Thank you.
Yeah.
Holly.
Thank you, Holly.
You're very welcome.
We will have you back one day, okay?
I think like a whole episode of her literally saying every single thing and what they're like helpful for. Because I'm just sitting here going like, what? That's so cool.
Okay, part 2 coming up.
Part 2, yeah.
Oh yeah, okay. Thank you guys for having me. I really appreciate you know, your dedication and you make it fun for these podcasts, and I'm your #1 fan.
Oh, she is. That's why you keep getting mentioned, because you are our #1 fan. I love it. I always get a text message randomly, you know, after an episode or something, and she'll be like, I was yelling that. And I'm like, I knew you were. I could see you in my head.
It's so funny.
So fun.
Yeah.
All right. Well, we will see you next week. Bye.
Bye.